Hi, this is Bekkr. Let's take a closer look at the ways in which we generate sound in Bekkr. So far in our tutorial here, we have had this very simple little oscillator. It's very much based on a standard analog oscillator. There's a whole bunch of little tricks it does to make the sound kind of sound pleasing and have it feel very soft. Things like something called polyblip, which makes sure that you don't have like digital artifacts from being too precise. It drifts ever so slightly when you change the pitch. All sorts of little things like that. But let's look at some other ways. So another classical way we could start looking at is let's see, pulse width modulation. Very, very classic sound also in regular analog synths. Listen to this initially. Nice. And then let's add another LFO here. Um, and let's tie um let's tie the actual pulse size to it. Let's listen to this. Nice. Can go back in here and synth. Let's see what else we have. Additive. Basically, this gives you a set of harmonics, and you get to control the spread of these. So let's just listen to it as I choose here how many um, harmonics. You can choose whether there's an evil blend of even and odd harmonics, or we can change it down here to only have even. We can choose the tilt. So are we leaning towards the primary, the root node, or are we leaning towards the end? Let's add a few more here. It's a very distinct sound. Let's add something else. Let's see, there's a couple here that all model classic drum sounds, classic analog drum sounds. Let's see, let's do something else here. What's a good phase distortion? Not a great option. And then for this, let's modulate the distortion amount. Choose the shape. This is if you ever played around with some of the mid-80s Casio synthesizers, phase distortion was kind of their invention and what they all used. Very specific sound with some wonderful harmonics. Let's see, what's another good thing to sample here? Super Saw, classic from the Roland side of things. Let's see, what else do we have? Waveguide, interesting. Let's see, maybe plucked would work well here. Might know waveguide from physical modeling sense. Take another. Let's do blowns. How about last one, bowed while we at it? Some very sharp overtones here. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, that was the end of our list. Some of the ones we didn't talk about, sub oscillator. Actually, let's throw in something else here. Let's see. Um, let's see. So we had a ferment sound here. It's got a ferment vowel control here. Actually, why don't we modulate that? And maybe we change our LFO type here to something else. And then, oh yeah, sub oscillator is what we're talking about. Let's throw this in. So what that's gonna add is just, it's gonna take the same note that we're playing through a regular synth, and it's gonna add a sub oscillator an octave below, control the shape a little bit here. It's basically a soft blend between a sine and a square. Now, what we haven't touched on here is there's a whole bunch of other voices that, let's add a level control here. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. And then let's mute this for a second. So there's a whole bunch of other voices I didn't show that don't react to the incoming notes at all. They purely go from the harmony lane, and the reason for that is they're not monophonic, they're polyphonic. So let's throw in just as a sample. All right, that was intense. That was the pad oscillator. So maybe to control this, let's just throw an amplifier in here at the end, and now we'll try again. So if I start playing now, you can see that we are actually playing the chords that are happening. You can change the voicing, change the voice leading, how it will move through chords, change the inversion, change the shape of this oscillator. Again, this is like we saw with the sub oscillator, where it's gently moving from one to another. In this case, we're going from a saw to a triangle. Detuning is giving us the option to detune ever so slightly between each of the tones. It just makes a very, very rich sound. Glide is how fast we move from each to the other, so we can try pulling this up a bit. It has its uses, but it's probably not something you want set too high in general. Instead of having the VCA just controlling things here, let's actually do something fun here. Have a gate sequencer. Oh, actually, no, that was not what I was looking for. I was looking for, yeah, this one. An audio gate. So this lets us control a little rhythmic sequence here. Get to choose the division, the steps like with everything else, and here we can kind of control the shape of how the gate opens up and closes down. And so now maybe with that going there, we can add this other sequence back in. And then let's open the volume up a little bit here. All right. So that was a quick exploration of the current oscillators available in Bekkr. I'm sure I will be adding a lot more interesting ones in the future, but this should give you a good start to start working with. Thanks for watching.